Thank you. So have you ever met someone and you know just immediately that they are going to be by your side for the rest of your life? For me, this happened about 15 years ago when I met my friend Sean. But before I tell you about him, I need to tell you about myself. Here's why. Before I met Sean, I was kind of a quiet guy. Growing up, I had a few friends, but I was never the popular one. I didn't have a lot of confidence, and I didn't take a lot of risks. And after years of feeling uncomfortable and out of place, it was time to go to university. And I made a commitment to myself that my life was going to change. I was going to reinvent myself. I was going to be confident, I was going to have lots of friends, and I was going to take risks. The first week at university, I started making some progress. I was pushing myself into situations that would have made me feel so uncomfortable just a few days earlier. And it was starting to work. I was feeling kind of cool. I made a couple friends, and I met a girl, Holly. And one night, one of my buddies mentioned he was going to invite some guys over from the other side of campus. That night was the first time I met Sean. I will honestly never forget the first time I laid eyes on him. I'd never seen anyone like him before. He was wearing these tight, skinny jeans and a black studded belt. He had spiked up, rock-hard, gelled hair and a tongue ring in his mouth. Have you ever met someone who's like uncomfortably handsome? He was a cool-looking guy. And on top of all of that, there was Holly sitting on his knee. I swear, the first time I laid eyes on him, I thought to myself, who the hell is this guy? Over the course of that first night, we started to get to know each other. We were from completely different worlds. Sean was a country boy. He was used to working with his hands, baling hay, feeding the horses, fixing cars. He drove this black Mustang, and he dressed like some sort of male fashion model. Think of a modern-day smoke-free Marlboro Man. And incredibly, within a week, we were calling each other best friends. In the beginning, Sean and I were inseparable. It became known that he and I came as a package. He started teaching me things, like how to take big risks, how it was okay to fail. He taught me how to command the respect of those around me, how to defend myself in a fight, and how important it was to stand up for my opinions and my beliefs. There I was, mission accomplished. I'd reinvented myself. I was confident, I had tons of friends, and I was taking risks. But then something changed. We moved in together. After 2 years of Sean and I being inseparable, he and I and 4 other guys rented a house together. And I suppose because of the stresses of managing a household, Sean and I started butting heads. We had a couple confrontations, which led to a few blowouts, and we never sat down and resolved the issues. Within a few months, we barely spoke to each other anymore. I remember coming home from class some days to see his black Mustang in the driveway, and just getting a sinking feeling in my stomach, thinking of having to navigate another uncomfortable interaction with him. And one of those days, I came home to find Sean alone in our living room. And we were not on the friendliest terms at this point, so I just gave him a, hey, what's up? And he responded, well, I almost died today. And I knew immediately from the look on his face he wasn't exaggerating. Earlier that day, Sean had been sitting in the passenger seat of his friend's car when his friend accidentally ran through a red light. The car was T-boned exactly where Sean was sitting. Twisted metal crumpled over top of him to the point where he had to squeeze his way out and escape from the other side. When a paramedic on the scene realized where Sean had been sitting, he asked, "How are you standing here right now?" The right side of the car was completely destroyed. Sean wasn't kidding. He almost died. And I will never forget how my mind shifted at that moment. It made me realize how close I had come to losing such an important person. And it made me understand that Sean wasn't just anybody, but he was a brother to me. and I wasn't going to take that for granted. From that point on, I was more patient and caring towards Sean, and he responded in kind. Slowly, we mended our friendship. And anytime I felt the tension between us, I reminded myself of how I felt when I thought that he wasn't going to be around anymore. These days, Sean has traded in his studded belts and he wears a suit and tie instead. He and his wife just bought their first house, and every week I go over to help Sean renovate his basement. And as we work alongside each other, we are patient and we are kind. This is a simple story about my friend Sean. But what he taught me about taking risks is such an important part of who I am today. And I never would have expected that he would also be the person to teach me about patience and kindness. Think of someone in your life, and remember that the people who we love help shape us and create who we are, even in unexpected ways. Thank you, Toastmasters.